Yo, what's going on, everybody? Um, Hawk's gonna be here momentarily. We waited for the countdown to the last second. He's dealing with little William here, so he should be here any minute. Um, okay. Yeah, he's sending me messages right now. So anyways, welcome to Terrahash Tuesday, guys. I'm gonna wait a few minutes for Hawk. But we do have and I know we didn't announce this really, but it was kind of last minute, but we do have a special guest in the back room tonight that I'm going to bring him on in a few minutes. But how is everybody doing today? It's been a crazy day for me, just dealing with kids and things like that. So Bad Ace is asking here, where is the Flux guide? It's in the members section, sir. You can go find that. Let me message Hawk really quick. How much time do you need? He's having a little issue here. He's dealing with this kid. You know how it goes, man. Everybody's a parent nowadays, so you got priorities, obviously. So we'll wait a couple minutes. I'm gonna let him respond before I bring out the special guest. It's for a project that I've been looking into recently. It's a really exciting project, and I'm kind of all for it. I've been mining it for these I think like 2 weeks now. I've been mining it, maybe. So what's your favorite figure behind you? Crypto Frank. Oh man, I don't even know if it's even on the wall. All right, I don't know if it's on the wall. Okay, it's not on the wall. It's somewhere here. But my favorite figure is actually my limited edition Vegeta Funko Pop that I got signed by Chris Sabat himself, who's the character who plays Vegeta. Right, so that's actually my favorite. I waited 3 hours at Comic-Con for him to sign that. So yeah, I'll never do that again. But yeah, that's my favorite one. We have a guess of what project is from Mr. Yusuf. He's saying TLS. Guaranteed you will see KiiNG's plumber crack before RPM's face. 100%. 100%. Let me see if Hawks is messaging me here. Boy, I was kind of hoping to have him on before I brought him in here. But so this isn't really an interview, but if you guys have questions for him, you know what I mean? You guys, more questions, the merrier. We're going to kind of, get some basic information about this project and let him kind of tell us what this project is, right? So I'm going to bring him on. It's one of the developers for Telest AI. How you doing, Chief?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing well, man. You guys have been extremely busy over in your Discord. You guys are doing updates and announcements sometimes multiple times a day. You guys have been really just crushing it with putting in a lot of work lately.
Yeah, thanks. The Telestai devs have been very good at getting stuff done. We've been really motivated to push through, obviously, the roadmap that we have in our mind, bringing to life the vision of what we believe this project could be. And I think that's the most exciting part about what we're undertaking is we've got some really talented devs. We've got some great motivation. We've got a lot of opportunity, we think, to move in the space. And we're slowly building a community that we believe is interested in what we're doing and will utilize what we produce. So that's always the trick in these circumstances. A lot of projects sometimes start and they focus on one side or another, but we feel like we've managed to bring in all the key parts to building a successful project from the ground up.
Yeah, man, you guys have. I've seen a lot of new implementations over the last like 2 weeks. You guys now have a web wallet. I think you guys are working on Electrum right now. You're working on getting listed on Zagex right now. I mean, you guys have a lot of things going on. For some of the new people, like maybe people maybe who are watching who don't know anything about the Last AI, is what can you tell them is about the project and its goal, right? Its core function. What is Telest AI?
Telestai is essentially I suppose, a project that has been birthed, I think, out of many of the challenges that a lot of us have been seeing in social media and more of the cultural phenomenons. So I like to think of what Satoshi did as a financial revolution. What we're attempting to do with Telestai is create a cultural revolution of privacy and security around your digital identity. Our primary goal is to build the ability for someone, a person, no matter what their background is, no matter what their political leanings are, no matter where they are in the world, to have an ability to interact and engage with other people without being cancelled or censored, and to allow them the freedom to speak their voice, obviously within the mores of social acceptance, shall we say. So the grand example is you can't yell fire in a cinema, and we believe that that level of social boundary making is acceptable. But in general, anyone with any spectrum of perspective should be welcomed in our ecosystem. Within that, we are building out firstly a privacy centric digital ID facility, which is our first piece of development, Zeroa. And then we'll be moving into a privacy browser, which will be the first steps into our wider ecosystem. So yes, you are absolutely right in that we've made some pretty clear steps. First up, Electrum is not far away. One of our devs is working on that. We are undertaking a lot of the feasibility on some of the other pieces in our roadmap now. But yeah, that's the guts of it. Is we want to build an ecosystem where content creators get their value, where people can interact privately and without being censored for what they're doing.
Well, I mean that is exciting. I have never seen or heard of any project doing anything remotely like that. You guys, to me, I think, are the first to take on that challenge. I mean, that's a pretty big task. Is there anything else that you can tell us about the project? Other implementation you guys are working on, or anything about the community. And I'll bring up your guys' site here in a minute.
Yeah, sure. So obviously that privacy piece is pretty important. I think that what we are trying to focus on is building a community that believes in what we're doing and wants to support us on the path to get there. No project is able to survive, I believe, in an ecosystem which doesn't have a community that supports it. So we're about the people. So I think what we would want to say is we're building a community that wants to use the product that we're producing, and then through the use of that product, there will be a wider adoption as it gets out. That's what we would like to say. The community itself is very GPU centric. We believe in GPU decentralization. We have no problem with other projects that wish to go down an ASIC route. That's their decision, but it's not ours. We believe in decentralization in that sense. So we're very much focused on ensuring that miners can get the reward that they need out of the coin without needing to worry about specialized equipment. Meraki, which is the algorithm which we use, is a little bit more lightweight on the GPU, but it still retains the ASIC resistance of the algorithm which we're utilizing. So, yeah.
So a little bit more about the algorithm, because obviously, we're all crypto miners around here. The Meraki it's a variation of ProgPow, right? If I'm understanding correctly.
Yeah, correct. So Prog Power was obviously a designed by oh god, a girl several years ago. She was a wonderful coder who's worked in a number of different projects. Its adoption was primarily seen through Ravencoin, which forked from its original algorithm once it had specialized equipment jump onto the network. Prog Power is obviously a very complicated. Hey, Hawk, how you doing?
What's up, man? What's going on?
Prog Power is obviously a very a specific algorithm that has a number of different features that resist ASIC adoption. And essentially, it has a number of levers that sit in the code that allow you to tweak it to adjust the core usage, the mem usage, etc. What we've attempted to do is reduce some of the core usage to reduce the power requirements whilst keeping some of the mem. It does reflect a little bit more of the ETH hash requirements that I'm sure everyone would be familiar with. Everyone here is, generally speaking, mined either Ethereum Classic or the original Ethereum. And in that sense, it makes it a little bit lighter on the GPU while still retaining a lot of the ASIC resistance that Prog Power perpetuates.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool that that you guys were able to do that. I haven't. Once again, man, you guys are kind of leading the charge with this. I mean, I'm mining it over here on my desk over here, and I'm just mining with some 6600s, and it's using extremely low amounts of power, which is great because like you were saying, for GPU miners, it's a little bit more on the energy efficient side, right? To where it's not like the prog pows and kapows typically use a lot more of the core dependencies. So what is the plan though for Telest? Like, how will users be able to use the actual token on the platform?
So eventually what we're going to be doing is, once we get Zero up and running, it would allow you to actually have all of your ID booked into the a Chrome extension or a browser extension. Within that, we'll then probably look at extending it to allow a wallet function to sit there as well. Effectively, where we would like to get to is we'd like to build platforms where content creators are paid in the coin. We believe initially that's the first best steps. So if you subscribe to, for instance, yours or Hawk's channel, you pay a certain fee in Telestai. What that will allow is the split for the subscription to be far more equitable for the content creator. There's some work we need to do around the decentralization of and hosting of the required content, because obviously that's a significant part of the piece. But in terms of actually offering a platform to support the creators and give them the majority of the reward where possible, that's our sole focus. We believe that you guys, you create the content, you create, you're the one spending your time and energy doing this. You should be receiving the majority of the reward, not YouTube, for argument's sake. And I don't know if that's going to get us pinged, but that's the way of the world.
The evil YouTube gods are listening into us right now, plotting against them.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's up, Hawkman? I was trying to delay the start here for as long as I could. Hopefully,
just like little man's just having problems, man. So I have to.
Yeah, it's all good. I brought Chief in, and we're just kind of talking. He's just kind of telling us a little bit about Telest AI. And for everybody who's just tuning in, if you're just tuning into the show, Chief is one of the devs over at Telest AI, and he came on the show today, so it's really cool. So if you guys have questions in the chat, maybe you guys could fire off some questions. So you guys also want the content to be decentralized as well, right? Is that, if I heard your last statement correctly?
Sorry, can you just rephrase that? I missed that. Sorry.
So I was saying is, I think you said you wanted the content as well to be decentralized, right? The content to be distributed decentralized.
Yeah, so there's effectively a challenge from a tech and cultural point of view, where the majority of content that's produced today is held in centralized storage locations, what that means is it allows those people who control those avenues to control the payment plan, because obviously they're processing that, but B, it allows the control of the content and what is released. So if you have someone who produces content that you're not particularly a fan of or you don't want on your platform, you have the ability to actually remove that. Now, our belief is that what that does is it sways and changes the content that is created to fit within a narrative that a wider social audience is actually looking at. We believe that there are a number of very talented creators who could be doing more, but unfortunately, because their content doesn't fit within that narrative, obviously they don't get the same airplay. So what we would like to do is remove some of those algorithms and remove some of those, I suppose, forced funnels that push people into certain content directions, and just let people's content stand on the merit of how good it is. So you promote it yourself, you get the reward for the promotion. You produce the content, you get the reward for the content, rather than have YouTube algorithms basically push things into your feed. We want to get away from that where possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's really amazing. That's really just like kind of giving the power back to the people. I mean, one platform that just, I mean, comes to mind though, as far as like for decentralized infrastructure, and that we all know is going to be Flux. Is that something that you guys are considering for decentralized infrastructure?
Yeah, absolutely. We're certainly considering them. I've actually had a conversation with one of their business representatives, and we're investigating that as an avenue. How it would eventually be set up and structured is obviously something we need to work through from a technological roadmap perspective. But they're the types of people we want to be working with because they understand what we're trying to do. There is some elements of we have to ensure that there is certain content that isn't produced, and I'm sort of referencing CSAM stuff, and you kind of know what we're talking about with that. That level of caution needs to be walked very carefully. It's just about making sure that we can accurately work through that. There's some, I think, opportunity with AI screening to work through that. So I've been, doing some work with some people who have been looking into that too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they could actually provide the infrastructure, and with their Flux Edge could also do the screening for you, all in one place. So just in case, once again, if everybody didn't hear me, this is Telest AI. I'll put the link in the chat if you guys want to head over there and go check out their website. Just so you guys can go click and follow along. Now the white paper though is found in the Discord, right? Unless it's here on the site and I just missed it. Is the white paper? It's in the Discord, right?
Yeah, so the white paper is I can make sure that's put up. We've just been doing a little bit of updating on our website. We started obviously very minimally because minimalism and function is what we want to drive rather than pretty pictures. In saying that, the website does look fantastic and Zach has done a great job with it, but we do have a minimalist approach. We do have the white paper in our Discord. I'll get a link to that put onto the website shortly. Again, there's sort of two copies of it. One's on Medium, which is where I originally wrote it. I believe there's another gentleman who called it a manifesto, and I've come to quite enjoy that. I think it's a good sort of understanding of where I was getting at. But yeah, so there's a couple of links in the Discord though, if you're wanting to go and read it.
Yeah. Actually, if you want, well, here, let me get here. I guess I'll get a link too for the Discord if you guys want to go check out their Discord. They have tons of announcements, updates, information, all kinds of things. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, it's a pretty active Discord. I guess I don't know. I'll let Hawk kind of ask some questions here. I've been kind of taking the lead here on this stream here.
I didn't even, I knew last minute he was coming on, so I don't have any questions at the top of my head. I mean, I don't know if King asked this question. I'm kind of out of it today. Did you so what, I don't even know, man. So why, okay, so let's just go to something fundamental. Why what problem will this Telest AI going to solve, as far as I don't know if you guys covered this already. I'm still working, so
we kind of did, but you know, there wasn't as many viewers on, so he can just kind of reiterate what that is.
So the core problem we're working to solve is self-sovereignty of data and identity on the internet, essentially.
Oh,
So
right,
the
right.
digital sphere. So
Right.
that's our core fundamental that we're looking to solve. The problems that we're also looking to tackle within that is obviously content. So content creators not getting paid enough, or being censored out of content creation, things of that nature. There's bits and pieces within that entire Web3 self-sovereign identity that we can tackle much more successfully once we get it up and moving. That is where we're focusing. I suppose why this has come about is we've obviously been, I personally have been working through looking at a lot of the challenges socially that have been taking place over the past, let's just say, 10 years. And I believe that as I sort of said before, where Satoshi created a financial revolution, we believe Telest AI can create a social revolution, and that's what we're aiming to do.
Yeah, I think that I think a few people have tried it in the past, and I think the problem is, I think just the way that they approached it wasn't correct. So if you approach it the right way, I think it could be done really well. Now, is there plans for like, I know you said socials and stuff like that. Is there a plan to link the chain with other social media platforms, or is there a plan to like upload your own social media, like videos and stuff? Like, are you planning on working with any type of browsers or anything like that? Like, how does it work?
So where we're starting is the first piece of the ecosystem will be something called Zeroa, which will allow you to create your own Web3 identity. So we're beginning with password management using BIP seed phrase as the essential sign-on. So it takes the same decentralized security that blockchain perpetuates, and we're starting there. So essentially, you'll be able to add this into your Chrome as a Chrome extension or a Firefox extension, and utilize that as the ability for you to access websites easily, simply, and securely. From there, what we're going to build out is obviously linked to a person's address. So blockchain address is collecting the data that you utilize, and working through how do we then capture that data in a secure and private way, so that other people aren't sort of skimming that data out of you. The reason for that is we believe that rather than us being the people that advertisers are making money out of by scanning our metadata or trawling the metadata, we can then sell the metadata that we wish into those advertisers. So we allow people to look at commercializing their own digital footprint where they so see fit. Those platforms will come about through Zeroa, and then we're going to be looking at a privacy browser that will be, I suppose, the big door into the ecosystem. That privacy browser will probably at the moment be something that will take a little bit of time to build out. We're doing feasibility on it as we speak, but it will be essentially something that we want users to use daily. From there, payment for various things are going to be through the TLS coin. We will look at how do we work through that piece, because there's obviously some considerations around price and availability of coin in terms of it. But what I do know is that where many chains have problems in their success from a longer term point of view is they don't have activity on chain. we want to drive activity to the chain and make it usable, make it used regularly, because we believe that that's going to be the core success for people, especially miners. So as people use the coin, that creates volume and that creates utilization. That will then create optimal financial situation for miners to mine successfully.
Awesome. That makes sense. We have a question from Homebrew Crypto. You want to put it up, King? You can put it up.
Yeah, I will. There's a couple more I was going to get to. Travelers Travels. No, they also have a core. They have the core wallet, but they also just recently released their web wallet as well. So you guys have that. And then Smash Like Bros ask, will there be nodes since it's ProgPow? Typically, there's like smart nodes on there, which I actually already asked Chief that, but I'll let him answer that in a second here. Thank you for the super chat, Mr. Crypto Craig. Thanks for the interview with Chief and Teleste AI. Thank you, Mr. Craig. So I guess Homebrew is asking, Money King, I want to know their background. Have they worked on proof of work projects? And why did they decide to do this now? What's their biggest problem they see for the project? Oh, that's a lot of questions. Here, I'll leave it up on the screen.
Yeah, I've been in and around crypto for a while. That's all I'll say about that. So I've been a miner before for a long time. I understand the challenges that miners have. I understand the issues that they face. I understand what Ethereum did well, and I understand also then how it betrayed the miners who built the chain. Why did I decide to do this now? I personally think that we're in an epoch moment from a cultural point of view and a societal point of view. And at those moments, people either stand up and try to do something that they believe in, or they get washed away with the wave, shall we say. I'm the type of person to stand up and put my time, energy, and money into something that I believe in. And so I've been working on this since, I think, November last year, on and off. And I suppose secured release of this in, we did Genesis blocking on 25th of July. There was a little bit of time in the development of it, but that time was around forming the ideas in my mind and getting the correct code implemented. So it has been something that I've been working on. Biggest problem that we see for this project, I think, is one, electricity costs. People are suffering through a cost of living crisis no matter where you live. I think that's a big issue. Two, I think apathy. I think a project can only succeed if people want to be involved in it, even if it is at just the mining level or jumping in a Discord and engaging with it. As with any societal change, as with any project, unless people want to jump in and actually give it a crack and engage with it, it's not going to go anywhere. And that's the actual truth. We can develop all the code that people want. We can develop a project that solves the white paper that we've pushed through, but unless people want to be involved in it, that's a big thing. So I think there's a lot of very tired miners out there. There's a lot of very disenfranchised miners who have been backing projects and then not seeing those projects deliver on what they've been asking for one reason or another, or haven't seen projects started with that core group of mining community as their bedrock that they build out from. I want to flip that back. I want to make the miners king again. To quote a phrase, make mining great again is sort of a mentality that I've got in my mind.
I love it. And I'll go back to Smash Like Bros. He's going to ask obviously about master nodes or smart nodes. And I'll let you answer that, but I'll just ask that maybe you could do possibly something like Tempe, which they mint NFTs, and then that's how you deploy the node, but the nodes actually do a level of compute as well. So something else to consider.
Yeah, look, I'm not against master nodes. I'm just not sure that they would fit what our roadmap is at the moment. If that was to change, it would need to be done with a mechanism whereby it doesn't impact on the miner's reward, and it doesn't impact on the consensus of the network. So I think where master nodes can become a bit tricky is you should always incentivize the miner to secure the actual network and make sure that they get the primary benefit of that. I think master nodes are a different economic reality that you've got to deal with in a different way. So how do you incentivize people to do that? I'm not entirely sure yet. I haven't worked that through in my head, but that's probably because they don't fit at the moment with what we're trying to do. If they ever do become a requirement, we'd need to handle it differently, I think, than what others have.
Yeah, exactly. And then I guess Son of a Rabbit is inquiring about your guys' block fee of 25%. I've seen block fees for dev fees higher than that. I've seen it lower than that. I don't know. I kind of think it's fair. I mean, you need a project to kind of be able to fund itself, essentially, right? To be able to do things. You can't just do everything for free. And obviously, since you guys are trying to do like social platforms and build like infrastructure, I know the cost of that is extremely expensive. It's not cheap.
Yeah, look, I think the challenge is that Bitcoin is the example that proves the rule that I believe that projects need some level of funding to grow. And Satoshi is the exception to that rule with what he did, because he obviously did things the way he did. We want to make sure that our developers actually get remuneration for their investment. That's our core thing. We want to make sure people building the project get remuneration for what they have contributed. That's the point of the dev fee. It's there to build the project. People have asked, oh, but what if it gets dumped on the project and blah, blah, blah. It's impossible to dump the coin at the moment for any value. There's not enough volume or price to do so. What we're trying to do is incentivize the devs to do the wonderful work that they're doing so that they can continue to feel like they're engaged and will get reward. So there is a lot of delayed gratification. The next bit is people say, oh, isn't it a rug pull? I again say there's no rug to pull. It's a proof of work project. It's not a proof of stake liquidity pool. I think there's a genuine need to prove what we're doing with that dev fee, and I think that's something that we will earn in time. I'm fine for people to be skeptical if it means that they're waiting to see how it's used. That's not a problem to me. I do feel like it's a little bit disingenuous that there are people who are skeptical of a dev fee but will not invest in a project even if there isn't a dev fee. So there's some levels of contradiction that I feel some people in the community sometimes engage with, and that's just really around the disenfranchised nature of where they're at. To some extent, I still understand it. I just wish that they would engage in the common sense discussion. But yeah, it's a challenge. It's always a challenge, I think, for any project to properly incentivize. But I feel like this is the best way to do it for our devs and for our project.
Yeah, and then we have a question from Smash the Like Bros. He says, where does the AI play into all this?
So this is an interesting one. The pronunciation of the word is telestai. I think that someone has initially seen AI and then emphasized the AI part of the enunciation.
It's probably me.
The word, honestly, it happened before, so don't stress. The word telestai is a Greek word, and it means it is finished, and that is the meaning behind it. Meraki is also another Greek word, and it means to do something with passion, to throw yourself into. I felt that I believe that words have meaning, and what you call things matters, and I called it telestai because I believe this is what we need to finish. We need to finish this. Ties in a little bit nicely with the the chief moniker that I've got, but that was just a nice happenstance.
I mean, it is a very deep name, right? And I can definitely appreciate it, but it is definitely a very good play on words because it has the AI part at the end of it, right? Which everybody's talking about. But one question I had though is, you guys want to have all these social platforms, right, where we distribute videos or shorts or all kinds of content, right? Is there going to be some type of what's the word I want to use, like Twitter, like a check mark that says that, hey, that you're a verified user or something like that? You know what I mean? Like, how is that gonna is something like that gonna come into play at all, or no?
Yep. Yes, absolutely it is. And that's the basis of Zeroa. So Zeroa will be your identity. So Zeroa will be the checkmark, so to speak. Users will need to use Zeroa in order to access the ecosystem. So that's the whole point. And the reason why I am fastidious about building that out is because, I've been on many different social media platforms. The level of abuse of those platforms by bots and large advertisers who produce dummy accounts to get on there and advertise their own ends, that has to stop. It has to stop. I know that a lot of the social media platforms are trying to deal with it, and it is a challenge. I believe blockchain can actually really clinch this and make it easy.
Boy, got a couple of hard questions here. Son of a rabbit, he is grilling out here tonight.
Real quick, King. Real
Okay.
quick. If anybody heard the Power Rangers thing, that is my it's my text tone.
I did.
Phone.
I was wondering. I was like, what's going on in the background here? I'm like,
it's my text tone on my phone.
I was like, is that a ringtone? I'm like,
yeah, man. I mean, come on. Like having an Apple Watch was like when we were kids. Like this was like the future.
What are you, 10? I mean,
yeah. Can't lose your inner child. That's when you go down the tubes, man. That's what it's all.
Sorry, what was your favorite Power Ranger? What was your favorite Power Ranger?
I don't remember, man. What was her name? The one that we all had a crush on. Was she the Pink Ranger? What was her name?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Kimberly, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, man. It just brings back memories. Go ahead, continue, please. I'm gonna divert the whole thing, and we're never gonna get back to it.
So I like Homebrew's question here a little bit better, and he says, are there plans to do maybe a side project / chain for hard drive storage for storing all of this, all of these videos and all this data, right? Because obviously it's going to be a huge amount of storage is going to be needed to be able to store all, Red Panda's, feet pics, you know what I mean, that he has everywhere across the internet, you know what I mean? So is there anything like that possibly? Yeah.
There's a lot of feet pics in there. Poor RPM. Yeah, look, the goal is to utilize the infrastructure that is available where we can, and try to work out how to make that financially feasible. I think that's the first step for me to work through that. We've got a little way to go before we need to solve that problem. I think that Zeroa is going to be the big first one, and then the centralized browser will be the next step, and then we've got sort of plans for a social media platform like Twitter to come through. They're a lot more lightweight than what heavy media from a YouTube perspective is, but that's something that we're looking at. I think there's enough decentralized opportunity in Flux and places like yourself that we could maximize the storage there. It's more around speed to view. That's the big piece, right? Because if you're streaming things, you need to make sure that you're able to stream it in a good time and work through the bandwidth that requirement requires.
So just so everybody knows, so Teleste, is Teleste? Is that how you pronounce it?
We go Telesti, but
Telesti, whatever.
Tomato.
Tomato. Telesti has nothing to do with AI. So I saw KiiNG spelled it Telest, capital A, lowercase I. I think, or capital I. I think that's going to give
That's
people the wrong that they're going to think AIs. And I could understand it though. I could definitely understand it
Yeah.
because when we first heard about it, we were like, "Oh," King goes, "Oh, here's another AI coin." It's like,
I'm just
wait, it
saying,
has nothing to do with
everybody
AI.
puts AI. Everyone puts AI, Core AI. You know, like all these guys are just like AI. Like that's just it's just the buzzword, right? It's what's going on in the technology space right now, right? If you have AI in your in your keywords there, that you're you know what I mean, you're going to draw attention. But that's just me. I don't know. That's just how I've been spelling it lately. Bad
No,
habit.
it's- I thought it was that too, because even on mining pool stats, I think they have let me see. Because on mining pool stats,
But what I think is interesting though is that when people subscribe to you, they have to pay a small amount of Teles to like sub you, right? So and the proceeds go just to the content creators, which I think is great because YouTube does take a lot of revenue from us, you know what I mean, and so do all the other social platforms. So I think it's good that we're giving it all back to the people who create their content. Homebrew man, you're coming out with some good questions tonight, man. You're on a roll.
got some hard ones.
What will the first implementation of social media platform look like? Would it be something like Facebook, Twitter, or like Twitch? Like what type of platform do you see the first platform being? Or is it going to be some completely like encompassing multiple platforms?
That's a great question. I sort of see it as text-based to start with. It needs to be fast, light, and easily worked through. From there, we'd probably move out into images and, spread our wings from there. We've got some code names for it. I don't want to release them just yet because I don't want someone stealing the name, but that's kind of that would be the first step, I think. And again, it's not about competing with other social platforms. That's not the point, right? You have your Instagrams, you have your Facebooks, you have your X's, and they all serve their own role. What we want to do is build an ecosystem where you're safe, you're in control of your data, and when you're producing content on it, you get paid for it. That's the goal. So we would exist within the wider sphere. We're not competing with the wider sphere.
Crap, I was muted. Sorry. Homebrew's got another good one. What happens if you subscribe and resubscribe after paying the content creator?
So that's again, we haven't worked through the actual mechanics yet, but the theoretical concept is it would just be a standard subscription. So just like what you subscribe to, let's just say Netflix. So if I like yours and Hawk's content, I subscribe to Hawk for 99 cents. Let's just say I'll let Hawk price his price. But yeah, you pay that on a ongoing basis. So that's sort of the idea. And the reason why we sort of see subscription as a sustainable model is the challenge is that people need some level of security in what they're producing. So if people know that there's a subscription of members, they'll curate to those members. And that means that you're then getting the content creator engaging with the members. It becomes a two-way street. Your subscribers become your lifeblood, and you need to consider them and take them into account in the way that in the way that you produce your content. So yeah, so the theoretical element is it would be a subscription base, but we're open to alternatives.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting.
Well, how many YouTube subscribers have you got? It's 25,000, isn't it, roughly?
What was it again?
YouTube subscribers.
How many subs do you have, Hawk?
Oh, me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You guys are both. I can't understand. I'm 15,000, almost 15,400.
Yeah. If you had a subscription service with 50 cents from every subscriber per month, you'd be able to do content pretty safely for the whole rest of
50 cents.
year,
I mean, yeah, that'd be insane. I mean, I know there's platforms like there's new platforms that are out like Kick and Rumble And now Rumble's not paying very much, but Kick is paying a lot right now for content creators. They're paying the most per subscriber, and I think like 5,000 subscribers or something. I have to pull it up, but it's very interesting. I mean, let me see. I'll give King the link, or I'll what did he say?
So-
What did he say? He's daydreaming the pink. Hell yeah, I'm daydreaming. Everybody was daydreaming,
I'm sorry,
man.
I gotta put that
She
up
was
there.
amazing.
That's too funny. That was a good one,
She's
boss.
She was amazing.
And
Oh,
and
man.
thank you, Crypto Craig, for gifting 1 membership. I can't see who it is because I'm in StreamYard. Maybe Hawk could tell me who it was or say who it was.
It's all set. All
oh,
set. Welcome to the Kingsman,
nice.
brother.
Well, this is how they're gonna drive the use to their project, right? There's a lot of these new coins come out, you know what I mean? And even you say, Hawk, and that we've said that the blocks in Casper are empty, right? There's
98% right now. Yeah, the transaction, the blocks are empty. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying though, is they're actually going to create a platform, and if and when people come to that platform, right, they're going to have to use, Telestai, right, which they can also mine themselves, right? So they can mine it, and then they could use that to pay for subs or whatever, you know what I mean, from their favorite content creators, or just make an entire ecosystem for it. So that's I think it's a really ingenious idea, but it's definitely going to be it's going to be a lot of hurdles. But hey, I'm like, if you're like me and like challenges, then I mean, this is going to be amazing when it's done.
I think you need to aspire to do things. So I'm very much on board with that. You're right, it will be tricky, but then again, someone's got to do it, right? Why not me? And that was the point I got to last year. I went, if someone's going to do it, it's got to happen. Why not me? Stand up and do it. You got to be counted sometimes.
So like Kick, for example, they're letting the streamers keep 95% of the total subscriber income, and the platform keeps 5%. So I'm trying to find their pay structure per subscriber. I found it the other day, and I just don't know why I can't find it right now.
They wouldn't need to do that though, because they take a dev fee already from the block.
Right. No, I'm just showing. Yeah, different examples of.
So Yusuf has been pounding this question in the chat, and I just want to get it through, right? Because typically ProgPow and Kapow are very ASIC resistant. They've never made ASICs for these algorithms ever. If there was, because you kind of said this was more Ethereum based ProgPow, right? More memory dependent. You said that there was mechanisms to tweak it. You could just tweak the core so that it uses more core to make it more resistant, right? To
Absolutely.
ASICs.
Yeah, you can do that quite easily. And it's not a difficult tweak to do. Obviously, our intent is to be as light as possible, because we want to be, there is an element of, you don't want to use too much energy. Energy comes from, natural resources, and we do want to be somewhat mindful to the beautiful world that we've got. But if we have to dial it up a little bit, and it remains profitable for miners to do so, to prevent something like the entity from coming on, that's not a problem for us to do. So yeah, I have seen a lot of the entity stuff happening lately. It is an intriguing issue.
So what's interesting is, and King, you can pull this up. Let me know when you have it on screen, because I'm on a separate screen. Is yeah, this is pretty funny. Yeah, this picture is pretty funny. It's kicking Twitch in the balls, but like Kick right now and just, we're talking about streaming platforms and what they're being paid. I mean, Kick is doing one sub $5. I mean, that's insane. I mean, if you like 5,000 subs is $23,000. Like, that's just, it's wild how much they're giving the streamers right now. And I know that the people who own Kick also own Stake, I believe, that online gambling company. So, I mean, I think Twitch is also pretty good, but I see, like, what I'm saying is like, if you can integrate something like this into crypto and let people control it, you know, this is also, it would be awesome. I mean, building a streaming, go ahead.
I was gonna say, would content creators be able to set their own like tiered system for different subscriber levels? I assuming that's easy, and you guys would do that.
Yeah,
and
that's the goal. We don't want to
Yeah.
set the payment structure. We want to let the content creators set the payment structure because they know their audience and they know what their audience is going to pay. Secondly, the challenge with KiiNG is it is backed by VC funding. So there is that element of it is big business at some element, controlling the platform again of what is being able to be produced. So there's still a centralized structure that sits behind it. So yes, the financial metrics make a lot more sense, but the same societal problem exists with the platform. You need to obviously keep that bad, nasty material off, and we're all for that. We don't want to allow people to be putting things that could be harmful up. But in terms of the production of the content itself, there should be realistically no censorship on what you can say.
So, really far off question. Really, this is, I know you guys aren't even looking at this right now. When do you think or expect that your first social platform, what's your guys' goal? 2025, 2026? I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take to produce this thing. I'm not a coder by any means. So, you know, what's your guys' what do you think, you know, around, or what time would you guys like to, you know, to stand it up?
Zach might kick my ass for saying this, but I'd love to see something out in 2025 in beta at the least. Alpha would be great still, but beta definitely would be fantastic. And I apologize to Zach in advance for committing to a timeline without discussing, but that's my ambition.
No timeline. It's just I said a goal. You know what I mean? That's like what you guys are shooting for.
Definite goal, that one. Zoroa is already underway, so we're not too far off. I think having a beta version of Zoroa, in the sense of you know, give us a couple of months and we can probably work through that. Zoroa to me then becomes the sign in to the social media platform that we'd be looking for.
They're very interesting.
Yeah.
I think what you guys are doing is pretty cool, and I think it'll be beneficial, especially because I know there's been other projects in the community that have tried to do something like this, but building something like this requires not only a lot of infrastructure and a lot of time. It's like creating a whole ecosystem around it. I mean, you really have taken the bull by the horns here, like, and you're going to be going for a ride. You know what I mean? Like, this is a huge undertaking. I don't think there's anything really in crypto like this yet.
Well, on top of that, he said they're also creating a browser, right? So they're creating a browser, they're creating their own social media platforms. I mean, it's a pretty big ask, you know what I mean?
And then, you know, and just to be honest, like, you build this whole thing, right? And then the hardest phase comes after that. That's not even the hardest phase. The hardest phase is not even building it. It's getting the adoption.
Absolutely.
Right. And then it's getting people there. So, I mean, I commend you for, you know, really taking on the, it's going to be a huge push. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be a lot, you know what I mean? It's going to be a lot of work, but you can still get it done. You persevere and go through, you know, take your time. There's no rush, you know? And, now go ahead. I do have a question though. Sorry. I thought you were saying something.
No.
The blockchain itself, is that going to have any sort of, like, we see a lot of this now with like other projects, like, for example, like Chlor AI, for whatever reason, their blockchain has nothing to do with they're just, it's just there. It's just a ghost chain. Doesn't really have anything to do besides transact. How does the blockchain integrate with what Telestai is doing from an operational standpoint?
It's payment. So
it's just the payment processing. Is that it? There's nothing.
Part of it would be the payment processing. We're looking to build a layer 2 on the top of it, which would be it would answer some of the technical challenges that we've got, and record a lot of the. So here's an interesting one. So one of the ideological issues with AI is obviously the challenge that you can create content without necessarily knowing if it was made by a human or not. So that's how good AI is starting to get. So there could be an image made, there could be a written essay made, etc. There are now social media posts being posted, and you don't ever know where the data's come from. Is it AI? Is it from someone else? Is there a copyright infringement? Is there a sourcing challenge? So I see it quite a lot on X, where someone will post something and then all of a sudden someone else posts it, but you don't know who the originator is. What we want the blockchain to actually record is the order of sequence of those posts. So yes, there will be the transaction element, but the actual order of sequence, which is what I deem provenance, ensures that you have a level of awareness of where did that content originate from.
Mm-hmm.
That's critical to me, because if you're the creator, you want to be able to lay claim that that was your content that you created, not someone else's.
And you want to be able to verify all that through the chain, I assume. So
that's exactly right, which is what
right.
blockchain is designed to do: sequential tagging of things effectively.
Thus creating everybody's content in an NFT, so to speak.
So to speak, yeah. Maybe not quite so. Maybe not NFT from the sense of what we call it, but yeah, the concept of it, absolutely.
Right. Makes sense. Did you ever, now building your own ecosystem, before you guys launched this project, did you ever think about maybe trying to build on like another ecosystem, like maybe Ethereum or Cardano? Did that thought ever run through your guys' head before building your own ecosystem? Because building an ecosystem alone, I'd imagine is like tons and tons and tons of work, just a layer two. So was there thought about moving to or building on another chain at first?
Not on a proof of stake chain, not at all. I don't think that the centralization of proof of stake is cohesive with the ideology of what we're trying to do. In terms of why did we start our own, I think there is a fundamental of each new venture needs a start. We wanted to be able to control the ecosystem, in the sense of we wanted to make sure that how we started it ensured there wasn't any challenges with other entities coming in and saying, no, you can't do that. That was one of the things. So we wanted our aim to be pure, and we wanted it to be able to be formed by us, not by someone else, or influenced by someone else. I see that as really critical to remaining neutral in the whole piece. We require neutrality. That's our biggest ideological sort of foundation. Everyone can join, everyone can engage, but we're not influenced by other entities. It's right within that influence that you do get some challenges from a censorship perspective.
So creating a platform like this, and like it's I say this about a lot of projects, and I'm just speaking in generalities here. A lot of projects, they claim decentralization, but the truly only decentralized projects out there are the older ones, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and a few others, because a lot of these projects have they have center points, you know what I mean, where they all converge. And I think a project like this, especially if you're building a social media platform, you're going to need the infrastructure in a centralized place. I mean, and I'm just asking to be fair, because I know a lot of people have questions in the chat about it. Is the project truly decentralized? Because you're going to need a centralized point of operation, especially to run like social media platforms and all this other stuff. You're going to need a centralized part to operate. How does that work? Is that in the form of nodes? Is that in the form of calling Terra hosting and say, hey, I need to stand up 7 servers to help run these things, or maybe spreading them out all over the place, or like, you know what I mean? Like, but no, but I'm serious, because like I think of it from like maybe YouTube or Twitch and all these other companies that have these servers have to run these social media platforms. I mean, the Twitter server room is probably a football field long. Like how does it operate while remaining decentralized, while still having to have a centralized form factor for operating social media platforms?
Yeah, so that was the tension that we're trying to strike, right? So
Right.
I think and I really want to clear this up as well, because I think it's a
Sure.
really important point. Within the concept of decentralization, there are no rules, right? That effectively, so there's no one to stop you from doing something. That's pure decentralization. No one can come
Right.
in and stop you from doing something. As I've sort of mentioned, there are some challenges within that, because once you open that door and you can't close it, you will get people walk through it that you personally and ideologically believe shouldn't be there. I referenced in my white paper the challenge around Mastodon and what they have had happen with their federated ecosystems, where there are ecosystems that can exist on such a decentralized platform that Mastodon fundamentally disagrees with. I've sort of referenced some super far right wing groups and some CSAM groups who exist within the Mastodon ecosystem that are unstoppable, in the sense of you can't stop those instances. Within decentralization, we believe there needs to be some level of box that must be drawn early on to say we play within this box, but whatever is outside this box isn't part of what we believe should be within the ecosystem, and we protect that box. That is to ensure that there is a safe space for people. And what I mean by safe is people can't be harmed. People can't. There can't be any criminal production of CSAM stuff, for instance, is the biggest concern that I've always had. The challenge is who controls that level of centralization. What we want to do is utilize some levels of AI to obviously do the screening process and then implement a voting system to ensure that that is as decentralized as humanly possible. So we create the boundaries, but the project itself isn't the one enforcing the boundaries. It is a combination of emotionless AI and group contribution. I think that is the furthest level of decentralization you can achieve as a society, and ensuring that there's some level of safety for those that exist within that ecosystem. That's a very, very, very fine line to run. And I actually acknowledge how tricky that is. And there could be accusations of, erring on either side down the track, which is something that we need to guard against. But if the intention is to produce an ecosystem that has some small levels of protection and implements that properly, we need to ensure that we do that in the right way possible.
Yeah, I just imagined trying to, operate the infrastructure required to operate, social media platforms and all this other stuff, while trying to, have it run on a decentralized blockchain. I think is a lot of problems. It could bring up a lot of problems and challenges. I think a lot of projects are struggling because the idea of blockchain is not to do that kind of work. It's different.
Yeah.
But
I think you're right in what you're saying. I think that's the hardware question is actually easily resolved. Really, there's enough decentralized hardware out there to do what we need to do, as long as we can balance the economics of it with the person that is producing the content. Right. At the end of the day, that's just a mathematical equation. That's finance. It's the ideological challenges that need to be really grappled with, and that's the biggest part that I think we've tried to engage with, is how do we build this out whilst making sure that we do it in a responsible way. So 100% agree with you on that.
Well, it would be interesting. It'd be interesting to see how you guys develop this sort of platform running on on how you guys are going to operate it. Sorry.
Well, I'm
Interesting.
I mean, almost. I guess one avenue you guys could do is, like you talked about earlier, is using Flux and their decentralized infrastructure, right? and people could, I don't know, you know, maybe that's how you do your smart nodes or whatever, and that could be your infrastructure, right? Where they have to, stand up a node on Flux, and that helps with the decentralization. I don't know, but there's tons of ways to skin this cat. You know what I mean? And you guys are going to figure out,
That's right.
what's best, for the project and and your guys' core values and things like that.
Yeah, I imagine, the infrastructure for, streaming and all this other stuff. I don't, and no disrespect to Flux, but I don't even think their node network would be able to handle something like that. I mean, the throughput bandwidth that you would need just to have the infrastructure for servers to stream, for instance, like we're using YouTube. Like the amount of infrastructure Google has just for YouTube is just almost as large as Amazon's
Well,
AWS. Like it's huge. So if you really
well,
think about like from that perspective, I don't even think there is a project right now in the crypto that has that sort of infrastructure that it can even go from there.
Well, actually, there was this little project thing that Jeffkey did test a long, long time ago. I don't even remember the name of it, but it was another platform where you could stream from. I can't remember what it was called.
Wasn't
but
that
he did
Project
it-
Mayhem?
No, that's not
Is that
Project
their storage,
Mayhem.
right? That was their storage or
That-
something.
Is that
No, Project
Theta's
Mayhem.
Theta's
that's-
another one that looked at it.
Project Mayhem's is like the Intel fake thing, right? Like detecting AI stuff. No, it's actually on their, you could actually buy it in their Fluxnode marketplace. I just don't remember the name of the app, but it's a place where you could stream, right? Decentralized, through the Flux thing. But what you do is when you do buy nodes, right, or buy an app from Flux, you set a geolocation. You know what I mean? So that might be something that maybe if Chief and them end up using the Flux team, that they're going to have to, when people stream, they're going to have it geolocate nodes to those people when they're streaming from that platform, right? You know what I mean? That way they get good latency to their to the platform. So I have no idea, but I mean I do know it's possible to stream from the Flux nodes.
You can also stream from IPFS. The infrastructure's there. I'm not saying it's the best idea, but the infrastructure is there. It's a case of you need to. This is the bit that we need to resolve, but it's code and logistics. I don't actually see that as insurmountable. I see the ideological issues, the harder of the two to balance personally. So long as that's taken care of, I feel like we can cop that challenge. But I do understand where you're coming from the perspective of YouTube has spent a lot of money to have servers and whatnot, and speed is their game. Everyone is always going to chase some of these early starters, really, because that's what YouTube is. But until people are actually really giving it a good crack, you're not going to see the improvement and the ingenuity take place. I think potentially what we're offering is the opportunity for coders to come in and go, we can give this a crack. We can actually do this. We don't have to be reliant on YouTube. Someone just needs to start. So
Chief, have you heard of StreamR?
I have done a little bit of research on them. I did a bit of research on Theta as well. That was the other.
Can you pull it up? Can you put it up on screen? So what would make and this is gonna be the hard question. What would make Telestai, excuse me, I'm still getting used to that. What would make it different from something like this?
One, the fact that this is the thing, right? So you want a digital footprint. So undergirding all of what we're doing is the concept that Zuckerberg suggests that the metaverse is going to be some 3D world that you jump in and run around as a little cartoon. I don't believe that. I think the metaverse is already here. The metaverse is essentially your digital identity. What we're doing is we're knitting that digital identity together and ensuring that users have a consistent presentation of themselves across different platforms, right? So it's not that we would be different from these people. It's what we're doing is we're offering a unified self-sovereign approach to how you get out there, and then trying to remunerate according to it. That's the goal.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Anybody else in the chat got questions? Yeah. Okay. It's streamer. Got it. They just spell it. They take the E. Whatever.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just letting it roll.
Whatever. Stream. I just wanted to make sure it was to a streamer or streamer or whatever. It's everybody's streaming. Okay. Here. Okay.
I was trying not to laugh at him, but oh man.
Interesting.
I mean,
yeah. I think it's great. I think it's great to build something like this. Let's see. Wait a minute. Sounds like they are describing unified active directory run on blockchain tech, Hawk Crypto. Is that about right, Chief? Okay, so
I haven't heard that phrase before. That's very interesting. Unified active directory. That's something I'll need to go away and have a look at. Let me come back to you on that, but excellent question.
Let's see. Mining King, does the algo use a lot of power? I mean, not really. You said King. You're surprised that it doesn't use as much as you thought it would, right?
No, not for ProgPal. I mean, for that, I have 7 6600s, and I got them probably on a medium tune, and they're doing about 556 from the wall, including the Octominer. I fixed an Octominer here from Terra. I repaired it, and just to test it, I'm just threw my own cards in there, and I'm just gonna mine on that while I'm testing it for 2 days, make sure that there's no errors. But yeah, it's actually pretty. I would say it's probably, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20% more efficient than like mining Ravencoin.
Interesting.
Just to be clear as well, just with regards to Zeroa, we're using blockchain for the signature generation for authentication, and that's a function that's built into the core wallets. No one has seemed to have simplified this in a way where it's usable and functions for users to log into websites. So that's what Zeroa's authorization system, that's the technology that will reside on our chain. There is a little bit of an exception in the sense of Ethereum, but in terms of proof of work, we'd be the one that would do that. So yeah, gentlemen, it has been fantastic to be able to talk to you. I might need to actually go and duck out to another meeting that I've got scheduled for standard work, unfortunately. The pesky.
Yeah, no, it's great.
We appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Not a problem at all, gentlemen. And I look forward to talking to you all soon. And we'll get Zach on next time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Chief. Talk to you soon.
Hey, thank you so much. Have a good night, Chief.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I do think it presents its own degree of challenges, considering that there are platforms that are doing something similar. But like everything in crypto, when people build companies and chains, it just turns into a race. You know what I mean? It turns into a race of who can deploy it fast enough, who can become more sufficient, who can get more adoption. And just like any other company or any other platform. So we'll see what happens. Gordon Murray said, well, go ahead.
I was going to say also bring on new projects and topics. Nice. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, we haven't brought somebody on the show in a long time from a project. And honestly, man, it's been the bear market blues lately. So I figured
it's hard, man. It's hard. There's really nothing, there's really nothing to really talk too much about. I mean, I kind of feel like DPIN hasn't been getting a lot of love either recently. And because a lot of these DPIN projects are just, oh, here, buy this product, and we sell you a product, and then the chain gets oversaturated like Hive Mapper, and then it's done. It's all over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a race to be batch one. You know,
right? Exactly. That's all I feel. That's all I feel it is right now. And Gordon Murray says, "Did you watch the Lex Friedman Donald Trump interview?" I did watch the Lex Friedman interview. If you guys didn't see, Lex Friedman did an interview with Trump. It was actually pretty good. So it wasn't too Trumpy either. So
To kind of go about what Son of a Rabbit here, team no docs equals red flags. So I have talked to Chief a little bit more in length, and me and him are gonna do another interview on Thursday, sometime in the afternoon, and he's gonna bring Zach with him, and he is gonna show his video. So just before everyone starts getting all up in arms about being docs, just remember when I first interviewed Neoxa, they were just
nobody knew
saw
nobody knew what Andy looked
them.
like.
Yeah, nobody knew what anybody looked like, and everybody loved Neoxa. You know what I mean? So I mean, and I'm not, I'm just saying, I've kind of done some research lately in this one, and I think it's gonna do well. That's just my opinion, though.
Moving to, I want to talk a little bit about these streaming services. A lot of people have talked about. I was talking to Panda about it. Like, I think we're starting to see a lot of people move away from YouTube, and there's been a few people that I've talked to already that have considered moving their platforms over, just because of the what's going on with YouTube at the moment. And I'm curious though that because now they have to break up the Alphabet company, which I'm sure because they were found guilty of being a monopoly. I wonder if YouTube's going to be broken up as well. So
I mean, honestly, I kind of just want to go to X, really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my thing. I've been having a lot of success there, and it's, to me, easier to use. And yeah, I don't know. YouTube has not been showing me much love lately, and I don't know if it's because of the our genre that we're in, you know what I mean, or what the deal is, but it's kind of is what it is.
Yeah, I think, I mean, for like long form content, I think YouTube is great. I do. I think YouTube is great for long form content, but like these streaming platforms and what the money that these people are making is insane. Is insane. And I the fact that they're actually paying for, I mean, look how many hours we all work on videos. You know what I mean? It takes so much time when you're um it takes so much time when you have a life and everything. Like everyone's at, like, someone asked me the other day, Hawk, it's been over a month. How come you didn't make a video yet? Brother, I don't have the time. Like it takes hours upon hours and hours to record and edit. And it takes a lot of time. So, I mean, streaming is just, streaming's been always a lot easier. Panda says, I spent 4 hours today editing tomorrow's video for $20. It's just, I mean, when you look at it, I mean,
at least
it pays off. Yeah, it pays off
Nice.
on the sponsorships and stuff. I mean, that's where the real money is at. It's where the real money's at.
But I mean, this new platform that they're talking about isn't just for streaming, which is what everybody thinks. They said social platforms with an S, which it could be something like X. It could be something, like YouTube, where it stores the videos. All these other things, right? And to sub, right? Let's just say, let's just throw this out there. Let's just say, let's say Panda's, conversion of subs over there. Say you had 200,000 subs over there on Telest, Telest, right? If each one of those people paid 25 cents of TLS, you know what I mean? Like it would be, which is nothing to like the average person, right? But over that many people, though, you know what I mean? That generates a lot of revenue. And that just like goes to, just think about like what YouTube makes off everybody, kind of a thing. And it's giving the revenue back to the people who spend hours making their content, right? You know what I mean? And that's kind of why my content tipped off. It's like, there's that, time that you put into it, and it's sometimes the work week gets busy and kids and stuff, and it's like you don't have time to spend 4 to 6 hours, producing, recording, editing, making a thumbnail, doing a description, making tags, and SEOs and all these things that go into it, right? You wear like 9 hats when you make a video. It is challenging.
I know Twitter or X is moving towards a more YouTube style platform. They want to be more for like videos and live streams and stuff, which I think is good. And they do have a program where they do pay you. Right now, it's based on impressions, but I think that's gonna change because there's a lot of talk about them changing the structures on how they pay for stuff, and it's interesting. So I mean, I don't know. You never know. Just see what happens.
Yeah.
Funny. Harry Cryptic Bear says you could always do OnlyFans. Did you know?
Yeah.
Actually, I found something out. OnlyFans was actually not intended for what it's currently being used for. It was actually intended for musicians and people who wanted music, and then like artists and stuff, and for them to go there and subscribe and pay to go see their content. A lot. It's very OnlyFans is actually very similar to what a lot of these like what Telestai is saying, because they want you to pay for that content, right? To go see those guys, to go see those people in that aspect. And then it just turned into a shit show, like everything with humanity. So it just it wasn't really meant for what's going on now. It's actually kind of funny how it just kind of took a left turn. But and then they allowed it, which there was a story where it was against their terms and conditions, but it created so much money for them that, hey, they changed it. Just like Radiant, they pulled a Radiant. They said, oh, we're going to be decentralized and no one's going to control. And then here came the money and the entity, and we'll give them 10%. You know what I mean? Like the money came in and changed up everything, but it was a huge left turn, and a lot of the people that were originally on there for music and all the other stuff left. So anyway, it was just pretty funny. It was an interesting story.
I mean, I mean, at least this is a project though that's actually solving something though, right? You know what I mean? Where's Patrick Guyan when we need him, right? That's like that's his one thing that he has.
Yeah, what problem is he solving? I can tell you this from a content creator standpoint, it's not fair that I think YouTube takes 40%. That's wild. That's wild. On top of like the algorithm, which I feel is dated and needs to be a little bit more friendly towards other things.
That's a good one.
So OnlyFans was originally for those who can play the G string, but now it's for those who remove the G. Yeah, basically, yeah.
That's a good one.
It's definitely that's what happened. Don't look under my phone cable. Yeah, I mean, I think Google. First of all, I think Google acquiring YouTube, it does create this giant monopoly. Google's got a huge monopoly right now, and it's obvious. I mean, they've been talking about breaking them up. I think they had to break up Alphabet once already, and there's Alphabet 1 and Alphabet 2. I think Geek of All Trades was telling me about it, but I wonder how now this is the second time they've been convicted of it, and what's going to happen next, or found guilty of it. What's going to happen next? Like, what happens after this? Does Google get rid of YouTube and move? I mean, YouTube makes billions of dollars in revenue. So like, what happens there? And then YouTube's one of the only platforms that takes in like billions and pays billions. You know what I mean? So, and but they keep increasing that cut that they take. I think early on it was like 20% or 25%, and it's doubled ever since. So it's nearly doubled ever since. So anyway, that's a Black Hat team. That's exactly what I said. They wanted to get rid of the prawn, but the money, they would have dried up and they would have made no money. Just kind of just like that. It's that left turn, man. It's like, oh, here's the money. Oh, we're okay with this now. We'll sacrifice our values and everything. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, this is what happens, man. It's just people see money makes the blind people see. My mom always said it. She's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Pull a Tony Stark. Make your enemies rich, make your friends rich, and your enemies rich, and wait to see which is which. Yeah, that's what it is. They'll pay a fine, change the company name, and keep on going. Probably. Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of hope that maybe they'll break it up, but that's just kind of what it is. It's capitalism. It has good and bad things.
How's
just
your
like every other system?
How's your vast rig been doing? You rented? You making dollars over
Yeah,
there?
I'm rented, but I have this guy that just keeps storing an instance and then activating it for a few minutes and then deactivating it, and I don't understand. Um, but yeah, I mean it's averaging about $6.50 a day, and he's barely using any power, basically nothing. So it's just sitting there with a stored instance, making $6.50 a day doing nothing. Which is kind of,
I,
I mean,
I,
a
I
rig should
mean,
be
that's
making more
great.
like. It's great, yeah, no, it's great, but I kind of feel like it's supposed to be making like $40 a day, and it's not. So
I
I
mean, if
mean,
it's using no
whatever.
power, you're making $6.50 a day. I mean, if
I
it's
know
using
it's a
like
free
no
six and a
power,
half dollars a day. I get it.
right.
Um,
I know, but I mean, you can make more. But yeah, I get it. I get your argument there.
yeah, I feel like, but it's okay. I'm not complaining. I'm just gonna let it sit, let it get verified, and just let it do its thing. So not gonna complain
So it looks
publicly.
like Amplifier Gaming did a little research into one of the developers. We're just going to go right back to Telesay for 1 second, but this is one comment. He's like, man, holy something. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. Zach has worked on a lot of projects, high hopes, or whatever the project says. Yeah, there's some skilled people in blockchain working on that project. So definitely high hopes for it.
We did some digging. I've talked to Chief a little bit. Did some digging. No, I know who they are, and they got a good reputation. And out of respect, they've asked to just keep it, where it is for right now. And I respect it 100%. So, but yeah, that the Zach kid has got a repertoire. So,
But
wow.
currently, right now, man, the 4060 Ti I put on FluxCore is also rented. So I mean, I'm about to throw like 3 more on there. No joke. I
I want to
am
see. I want to see when you get paid, because they don't pay normally, right? They pay.
not until the job's complete. So yeah, I do. Also, okay. So look, everybody wanted all the look. I don't know how this worked out or whatever, right? So I'm revisiting an interview with Chief and Zach on Thursday, and then I'm doing an early afternoon one because I know Hawk does his call-in show Friday, right?
I'm
So
gonna
I'm
try to
doing
do it
some.
again.
I am doing it early afternoon, like 4 to 6 Central Time. Okay, and I'm actually me and Mr. Jeff Key from Flux are going to sit down and go over some stuff because he's been busy. There's been lots of updates going on with Flux Core, and it's been a while since I did something with the Flux team. So yeah, there's like 2 more interviews coming. So be sure
Nice.
to stay tuned for all those streams.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. King, I'm off Flux. 3090s weren't getting rented. How is Salad going for
Oh,
you?
Salad is straight like butt. Like it's there's nothing in the salad bowl. Like there's nothing
I,
there. It just everything's just calculating.
I liked Salad from an ease of use perspective. Like, it's very
Yep.
easy to use. You don't have to know Linux. You don't have to know any of this code or follow any guides. No offense. And it's just easy to set up. But for me, it was very, very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. One job, and then they force an update, and then then the update, you lose your job. And it's just like, okay, well, you know what I mean? Crypto
Joker
Craig
got
says,
this.
go ahead.
I would say Joker got this $9 job like a couple of weeks ago. He's still on it. A $9 4090 job. But he's on 128 gigs of RAM and is using like 90 gigs.
Mm-hmm.
So but yeah. Here's your
Yeah, crypto has, yeah, it's great, man. It's well made. Knock on wood, there hasn't been any issues with it. It's still running. I love it. I'm gonna try to sell like my Epics with the motherboards and the RAM and stuff, all the kits that I bought, because I really don't need it anymore since I have the server. And I'm going to see if I can get 2 more 4090s and throw them in there and kind of just flip the money around. Or if Aletheum pumps to $5, then I'm gonna go put, because I have a 4090 rig, and I think I think 6 or 8 will do better, because I could fit 6 in the Octo server. So then if I get any more, I'm probably going to give a call to Chili and see if I can get another one of those servers. So, or maybe just go build one of my own. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's awesome. I like it. It's a well-made product, and their prices are just right. How do the cards fit? Those MSI Slims, they fit pretty good. There was a plate, so the fans in the middle. There was a plate that was like right here that I had to remove because even the Slims were hitting the edge of it. So thank God I was able to remove it, and it just exposes some of the wires on the bottom, but that's no big deal. But it's good. It works fine. It's not very noisy. The only problem I have right now is I can't close the lid because of the 4090 cables. So I can't close the top of it. I'm going to need like a 90-degree cable to kind of close the lid. But even then, I think it's still the only thing with the Octo server I wish it's a 4U server. I think it should have been a 5U server. It would have definitely gave that extra inch to allow for the lid to close, even with those cables. What happened?
He wants you to buy his turbo 4090s. That's what he wants
Yeah,
you to do.
The turbo ones were really nice that he has. But I'm hearing things from all over that they're telling me that it's American. I'm hearing that they're Chinese. I don't know, but I don't know. I have 6 A4000s just sitting doing nothing. I think if I can get a good deal on 6 more, maybe I can get another server, just put 12 and put that on VAST and just see what happens with that. Maybe that'll be worth it. I don't know. I'm just kind of taking things day by day. It's generating money, so that's good. So it's barely using any power. It's just kind of sitting there. Cards are sitting at, what's the temperature right now? What is it even sitting at? It's sitting at 35C. The cards are doing nothing, and it's making $6.50 a day. So no, just let it go. So he sent me the 5090 could require 600 watts of power. It's just a new article, Crypto Craig. He just sent. What's the date on this? September 3rd. Yeah, here, King. I'll share it on my screen. We'll go through it. It's pretty good. This might be some updated info here. Let's see here. All right. So it says here's an update on the information shared earlier this morning by a trusted hardware leaker regarding NVIDIA's next-gen hardware. According to KiiNG 7 KiiNG, there is an increase in power consumption for the next GeForce RTX series, the Blackwell lineup. The initial message left much speculation online, but that guy has now confirmed the exact figures. So he said the RTX 5090 is said to consume up to 600 watts, while the RTX 5080 is expected to consume 400 watts. An important detail not mentioned earlier, but confirmed by video cards by KiiNG 7 KiiNG, is that the RTX 5080 is projected to show a 1.1 time increase in performance over the RTX 4090. The leaker did not specify whether this improvement pertains to overall raster or ray tracing performance. Interesting, though. We can now update our specifications on the next gen series, showing a significant 150 watt increase over the 4090. However, KiiNG 7 KiiNG did not clarify whether this power consumption refers to TDP, thermal design power, or TGP, total graphics power, which is an important distinction. So this is his Twitter post here. And that's pretty much it. So it looks like it's going to use a lot of power. But I think it's delayed now, right? It's delayed till next year?
Yeah. Q1, I think. It's after CES. So yeah, Q1, Q2. I was thinking about doing like the max voltage thing there, do the Best Buy 18 months, 0%, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then do 5090s, because I still do have my H12. It's sitting there on the floor. Yeah, I know, typical Panda line.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking about doing that. I was thinking about doing it with 4090s. Like using 4090s now, and then when the 5090s come out, right, we'll sell the 4090s and then go get the new 5090s. But I haven't exactly decided.
Yeah, I wonder. There's been no confirmation on all the other specs on it yet, so I'll be interested to know exactly. But apparently there's going to be a 5050, 5060, 5070, 5080, and obviously 5090. But Yeah, what's funny is because you look at the back of the 4090 and you look at the VRAM slots, and there's actually extra room there on the back of that die. If you knew how to add the VRAM, you could add it. That would be pretty cool.
They
It's just
but they only increased the 5090 from 24 to 28. It was such a small increase.
yeah, but I think the what's like almost doubled on it. Oh my god, I can't remember. What's the name of the tensor? But is it tensor cores? I think that was doubled. I don't remember. I have to look it up. I think.
I mean, but this thing's going to cost like $3,000, man. It's going to be so expensive.
You think it'll be that much? I don't know. I think Max is correct. I think it'll be right around $24 to $2,600. I think it'll be in that range.
You could buy a used Civic for that. You know that, right?
Not anymore. Not in this day and age.
Maybe
pre-COVID, you could buy a used Civic for $3,000.
You could buy a '92 Civic for that kind of money.
I don't think so. Just for effect. Hold on.
What are you going to go look in? Okay, you can't go by Florida, okay? Because stuff's just really expensive over there. Like, there's, I got cars cheap over by me.
Doesn't have to be Florida. Oh, $19.99. Oh yeah, price range $2,000 to $3,000. Look at that. Nice. Yeah, maybe you're right. There you go. Was it cars.com? Let's see. 1992.
Yeah, but you got to go buy a Prelude so you can go put the H22. In
you got to buy two cars. It's like then you got to move the engines over.
Well, no. I mean, you just go buy a junker, right? And then you pull the motor out of it.
There you go. Fort Lauderdale. Here's what we got. Let's see. Oh, can you choose the year? Doesn't. Oh no, let's go used. Here you go. Here's some Civics for you. Not sure if you want a 1992.
That's too new, man. Yeah, I'm 90s all the way.
I'm trying to see. You can't even put the year. Is there a way to put the year? Let's see.
Or maybe even like late 80s, like the CRX. You know what I mean, or something like that.
Let's see. 19. Oh, only goes down to 2007. Doesn't even let you go all the way. Yep. No 30-year-old cars here. Yeah. Cars.com. Oh, here you go. 1992 Civic. Oh, there you go. There's your car right there, man. $8,100. That's got your name written all over it, man. Put an H22 in that bad boy, you'd be running 10-second quarter miles.
All
right.
Do
you think the Octo server is a good investment? I don't think it's a bad one. I think there are more reputable server case companies. What do we have the L40s in? What case is that? I think it's a Gigabyte, right? I think Gigabyte makes a good one.
Yeah, it's a Gigabyte. Oh, Gigabyte. Super Micro too. Gigabyte, Super Micro. They're all your
tried and
more
true
open source, OEMs. Yeah. I stay away from Dell and HP. I don't like using those guys. And then womp womp. Hey, no, we don't use K series around here. Okay, it's either B or H series for life. Okay, we don't
the K series.
You got way too much wiring to go on in that thing, man. Did you know that the 92 Civic actually has the VTech RAM, but it's just disabled if you just, you used to have a regular hatch like that.
So crazy the way people used to mod these cars, man. The Prelude was nice though. We used to put a Lamborghini doors on a Prelude once. Funny.
But we've been going for like an hour and 43 minutes. I think we'll go for like 5 more, and I'm gonna call it a night.
Yeah,
I've had a long day today.
Yeah. A lot of long days, man.
The money king, but K is king. No. The last one I built was a D15 mini-me swap with a Y8 head. I was copying this company that was out there in Seattle called Speed Factory. They had a 700 horsepower single cam motor build that was boosted that I was copying. The bad part is when you're trying to build something like that and it's your daily for a while, it just doesn't work out when it's your daily because you're just like paying money to keep it going.
I had a friend with a Civic hatchback, and he did a bunch of work to it, and would have plumes of like dark smoke that would just come out of the exhaust. And I'm like, "Yo, you got to get that fixed, man. That ain't right. It's not supposed to do that." He goes, "Nah, man, it's rich. It's rich." I'm like, "This fucking racers. It's rich. It's rich. It's rich. It's not rich, man. There's something wrong." And then the engine blew up like a week later. I'm like, I'm not a mechanic. Like I know cars, but I mean, like if I was swapping an engine, I'm calling KiiNG to help me move it. You know what I mean? Like, but I know when there's like black smoke coming out of an exhaust, it's usually not good. Yeah, exactly. It's like just as if it was like a diesel. Like, brother, like you got to get that fixed, man. And blew the engine. Oh man, good old days.
Well, I think enough with the car talk. We're totally off the crypto subject here. I appreciate everybody watching. We got 83 people on X and 81 on YouTube. So thank you everybody for hanging out. And be sure to go check out Telest AI in their Discord or on their webpage. And then also
Telest AI.
Next to Telest AI. I'll eventually get it right, maybe. And then be sure Terrahash Tuesday will be on Hawk's channel next week. So
Yay.
Be sure to, to go watch Terrahash Tuesday on Hawk's channel. All right, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you later.
Peace.